Mr. Daniel Byles.
I'm grateful to you, Mr. Deputy Speaker, for giving me the opportunity to make my maiden speech today. It's a real pleasure to follow the honourable members for Sunderland Central and Newcastle upon Tyne North, and all of the new members on both sides of the House who have spoken so eloquently today. And I hope that I will do justice with my own speech. I'm conscious, Mr. Deputy Speaker, of the apocryphal story of the newly appointed member many years ago who, after making his maiden speech to the House, was delighted when a senior and highly respected grandee, a gentleman with a great deal of bottom, approached him in the tea room later and patted him on the shoulder, muttering, "Rolls-Royce of a speech, old boy, Rolls-Royce of a speech." The delighted member later recounted this to a colleague and was most disappointed by the response. "Ah, yes, he always says that to the new boys. It means you were well-oiled, almost inaudible, and went on for a very long time." Mr. Deputy Speaker, I'm aware that time today is precious, and I will try not to run on. I would like to start by expressing my deep gratitude to the people of North Warwickshire and Bedworth, who have entrusted me with the honour of representing them here in Westminster, a task which I take very seriously and will seek to undertake with enthusiasm and energy. Having lived and gone to school in Warwickshire, to now be representing a Warwickshire seat is truly an honour. North Warwickshire as a parliamentary constituency has a broken history, having once actually been abolished under the Redistribution of Seats Act 1885, something which I sincerely hope will not be repeated anytime soon. But North Warwickshire was not to be so easily erased, and some 98 years later, the seat was resurrected in time for the 1983 general election, when it was won by my right honourable friend Francis Maud, now the member for Horsham, who held the seat for 2 terms. Francis is remembered with great warmth and affection in North Warwickshire and Bedworth, and kindly visited on a number of occasions during my campaign to offer avuncular advice and support. Let me also pay tribute to my immediate predecessor, Mike O'Brien, who was elected as Member of Parliament in 1982 and represented the seat for 18 years. Since May 1997, Mike O'Brien held an unbroken string of some 8 junior ministerial positions. He was once described by Matthew Paris as a dapper fellow, the sort of junior minister every mother would want her daughter to marry. Mike worked hard as a constituency MP and always fought for what he believed in. During my time as the parliamentary candidate, we had our political differences and our ding-dongs in the press, but we could always shake hands, and we never lost sight of the fact that we both wanted what was best for North Warwickshire and Bedworth, and I wish Mike all the best for the future. Mr. Deputy Speaker, my constituency is large and has a diverse economy. Historically a coal mining area, the last working mine in the West Midlands, Daw Mill Colliery, sits on our border with Nuneaton, and 2008 saw a record year of production. Much of the constituency remains rural, with significant areas of greenbelt land, and farming remains a strong part of the local economy. Our superb road links make North Warwickshire a hub for distribution and transport, and giants such as UPS and TNT have flagship facilities in the constituency. And like much of the West Midlands, manufacturing remains vital to the local economy and to local jobs. An estimated 8,000 jobs in the constituency are linked to manufacturing, ranging from the BMW engine plant at Hams Hall in Coleshill to highly specialised niche engineering companies such as Powercut Limited in Bedworth, which, among many other activities, exports precision components for nuclear power stations as far afield as China and around the world. Culturally, North Warwickshire retains many old and cherished traditions. In Bedworth, a great benefactor was the fondly remembered Nicholas Chamberlain, who was rector for 51 years from 1664 until his death. In his will, he provided for a school for local children and almshouses for the poor. Today, 4 local schools and the Nicholas Chamberlain almshouses continue to receive support from his legacy. Indeed, last Friday, I was privileged to attend Founders' Day, or Bun Day as it's known locally, in his honour, and to continue the tradition of handing out current buns to the pupils from the schools that enjoy support from the Trust. In Atherstone, the famous Atherstone ball game is an ancient Shrove Tuesday tradition which dates back some 900 years and continues to raise money for charity, and indeed continues to send 1 or 2 people to hospital every year. There is only one rule, that the ball must not be taken outside of Atherstone. Whoever is holding the ball at 5 p.m. is declared the winner. Beyond that, anything goes. I'm delighted that for 900 years the ball game has avoided the attentions of the Health and Safety Police, and long may it continue to do so. But North Warwickshire has a number of difficult issues which are of deep concern to local people, and as MP I will do all I can to fight for my constituents' interests in these matters. The proposed route for High Speed Rail 2 will potentially devastate the villages of Gilson, Waterorton and Middleton. Bedworth is at risk of losing the local fire station as a result of a proposed reorganisation of the Warwickshire Fire and Rescue Service. And I have been part of a local campaign for some time to fight a large, unsustainable and unwanted housing development on Greenbelt land close to the villages of Kersley and Ash Green near Bedworth. In addition, Mr Deputy Speaker, there are a number of national issues that I plan to champion during my time in the House, issues on which I know from the doorsteps I have the support of my constituents. One such issue is the welfare of our soldiers and their families, and in particular the issue of mental health care and rehabilitation for veterans and reservists. Mr Deputy Speaker, I'm aware that we're not discussing defence here today, but as an old soldier, I hope that the House will indulge me for a moment. I had the privilege of serving for some 9 years with the Royal Army Medical Corps as a medical support officer. Indeed, I served on operations in Bosnia under the command of the EU military headquarters when I served with HQ U4 in Banja Luka.
God help you.
Yes, thank you, Bob. I'll leave my thoughts on that for a later speech. I left the army to enter politics because I became deeply concerned at the support we as a nation give to our wounded soldiers. That the British people hold our servicemen and women in the highest regard is beyond doubt. The success of fantastic charities such as Help for Heroes and Combat Stress ably demonstrates that. But, Mr Deputy Speaker, these are charities which should not need to exist. As a nation and as a government, I still don't believe that we give our soldiers and their families the support they deserve when they are damaged on operations fighting for our country. As the Prime Minister noted yesterday, the sad fact is that we have now lost more veterans of the Falklands conflict to suicide than we did during the conflict itself. Specialist programmes such as the Veterans Medical Assessment Programme and the Reservist Mental Health Programme rely on referrals from civilian GPs. They are excellent programmes for those who make it that far, but study after study have shown that only a small minority of civilian GPs are even aware that these programmes exist. In theory, veterans are entitled to priority treatment on the National Health Service. In practice, for too many, this entitlement simply isn't there. There will doubtless be much debate over the coming months about the value of some major defence projects costing billions of pounds. But please, let's get the fundamentals right too. Let's not forget the poor blooded soldier and his family, who we call on to do so much in our name, and who deserves our support when he's been wounded, when he's been traumatised, and when he's back home, out of uniform, and the medal parades are over. Mr Deputy Speaker, thank you for indulging me. These are concerns that I know are shared by members on all sides of the House, but they are issues on which we can and must do so much better. Thank you. Yeah.